If you're thinking about moving to Florida's Space Coast and cannot decide whether you want to live beachside on one of our barrier islands or inland, keep on watching. Here is a list of pros and cons of living beachside versus inland. If you're new here, my name's Alexandra and I'm a local realtor down on Florida's Space Coast. I have people calling me every day and I absolutely love it. So if you have any questions about what it's like living here in Florida, go ahead and give me a call, send me an email, or shoot me a text message. I've got your answers and I would love to chat with you. And if you want to keep seeing videos like this, go ahead and like this video, subscribe to our channel, and don't forget to ring that notification bell so that you're notified every time we post a new video. All right, let's get into it. Pro number one is the most obvious, the beach. If you move to a home beachside, you're going to be super close to the ocean, maybe even walking distance. You'll benefit from living where most people save up to vacation. There's nothing better than crossing over that bridge over the beautiful water after a long day at work. And you might actually be happier living beachside. According to a year 2019 study published in the journal Health and Place, people who live closer to the ocean have lower levels of mental distress, and this actually reverses as you move inland. Science shows that people that live nearer the ocean are happier than those who do not. Not only will the rolling waves and the sand in your toes be just minutes away, but the Indian River will be just minutes away in the opposite direction. Con number one, there is a higher cost of living associated with living beachside. Homes are more expensive near the beach. I actually just talked about this when I shared the reasons why we moved from beachside to Palm Bay. Here's that clip. Over beachside, 4-bedroom, 2-bath homes that are around 1,800 square feet sell from the high 400,000s up into the 900,000s. Meanwhile, in Palm Bay, you can get a new construction home of the same size for around $369,000 or less. Homeowners insurance is more expensive beachside too. In fact, this is the major decider that does a lot of people in when they decide against living beachside and choose something inland. You can expect to pay double or more in homeowners insurance beachside than you would inland. The cost of goods often runs higher over beachside as well because there tend to be more tourists over by the ocean. You'll also spend more on the maintenance of your home. Beachfront property often requires more upkeep due to the saltwater and storm damage. Pro number two, according to multiple third-party sources, such as US News, many of Brevard County's top-rated schools are located beachside. Even if you don't have kids, schools can be important for resale value. According to US News rankings, Freedom 7 Elementary School of International Studies in Cocoa Beach is ranked number 1 in elementary schools in Brevard County. Spessard L. Holland Elementary in Satellite Beach is number 8 in elementary schools. Indy Atlantic Elementary is number 9 in elementary schools. Delora Middle in Satellite Beach is ranked number 3 in middle schools. Satellite Senior High School is ranked number 3 in high schools. And Cocoa Beach Junior Senior High is ranked number 4. These are just a few, but there are several other highly ranked schools located over beachside. Con number two, homes beachside tend to be older. While you can find a newer home or condo here or there, most of the residences over beachside were built in 1980 or earlier. We've got a lot of homes built in the 60s over beachside. With older homes come higher insurance rates, and when you combine that with the higher risk for storm damage, you're really going to pay for it. Pro number three, you'll have more convenient access to recreational activities, especially if they're water-based. Living beachside means swimming, surfing, kayaking, fishing, and paddleboarding are often only steps away. You'll also have the beach available for walking or biking. Living close to the beach can lead to living a more active lifestyle simply because you have quicker access to all of these wonderful activities outside. Con number three, you're more likely to have to evacuate for hurricanes if you live beachside. This is because homes beachside are more likely to experience flooding and storm damage. The barrier island is only accessible by driving over the causeways, so mandatory evacuations typically mean things could get bad and emergency services won't be able to get over to you. I also want to note that the causeways do not close down during a hurricane, so you won't be trapped. This rumor pops up every single time we have a storm. And it's simply not true. The causeways are not going to be safe to drive over during a storm due to the high winds, but they're not closed. If they do close the causeways, it will only be for a very brief period of time after the storm has passed so that engineers can assess the bridge for damages. While we're on the topic of bridges, pro number 4, you can live most of your life beachside without ever having to cross the causeways. Over beachside, you have access to everything from grocery stores and home improvement stores to doctor's offices, dentist offices, and law offices. The only exception is you do not have a hospital or an emergency room over beachside, so if you have an emergency or need to go to the hospital, you will have to drive inland. Con number 4, while you can live most of your life beachside without traveling inland, when you do have to travel inland, it can take a little bit of time. For example, if you live down here in Melbourne Beach, your morning and evening commutes can get a little lengthy. A1A is only 2 lanes up this way, 1 lane going north and 1 lane going south. This means if anyone gets in a crash or there's a slowdown in 1 lane, it's going to affect the other side of traffic as well. And unfortunately, because you have very limited ways to get across from beachside over to inland, you can't take another route to evade traffic like you could if you lived inland. Pro number 5, many areas beachside are more walkable than they are inland. Depending on where you live, you may be able to walk to the beach, the grocery store, and even restaurants. Many residents choose to bicycle around too. Living beachside allows for you to live a very active lifestyle. Since we're talking about walking, I need to tell you about some of the dangers of this too. Con number 5, walking across A1A towards the beach can be very dangerous. A1A is the road that parallels the ocean and it's heavily traveled. In recent years, they have dropped the speed limit and they've added several crosswalks, but it's still so important to remain vigilant so that you don't get hit. I've heard a lot of drivers complain that the crosswalks are too distracting and make it hard to see pedestrians. Other drivers continue to blow through them. Just make sure that if you're crossing A1A, that you're doing it in a crosswalk and you're keeping your head on the swivel. Pro number 6, you'll have cooler summers living beachside. Summers get hot here in Florida. When you live over beachside, you benefit from a nice ocean breeze that helps keep temperatures cooler than they are inland. Right now, we're in a cooler time of year, but the temperature differences still exist between coastal areas and inland areas. For example, on Wednesday, February 5th at almost 5 p.m., it was 79 degrees Fahrenheit in Palm Bay. At the same time, it was 74 degrees in Melbourne Beach. And finally, con number 6, gardening can be really challenging beachside, depending on what you want to grow. Due to the high salt levels in the soil, a lot of people that love gardening complain that they can't get anything to grow over beachside. If you're moving to Florida for the year-round warm temperatures so that you can have a beautiful garden, living beachside may become frustrating to you if you can't garden here. If you found this video helpful, go ahead and hit that subscribe button for me. Thanks for watching. Bye!